Coming up on this episode of The Village Idiom.
What is a doctor who specializes in Adam's apple called? A gynecologist.
Dum dum da da, Village Idiom.
Hello, and welcome to the Village Idiom.
I hurt my throat.
Welcome to Smokers Anonymous. Welcome to This Week in COVID.
We are a podcast that starts with a improv beatbox every single episode. When that episode is 266. We choose a popular saying, take an admittedly shallow, hopefully comedic, once in a while interesting, if we're lucky, educational dive into its usage, its meaning, its origins, but mostly we're going to use it to hang our otherwise directionless conversation on. My name is Not Skinny.
And I am Michael Jackson. It has nothing to do with today whatsoever.
No, I need a drink.
Let's do this.
Today we got...
We should have had these last week. Let's synchronize. Cheers. Clink. ASMR. Well, today is a fantastic day. We got a fantastic idiom lined up for you. Yeah, you guys want to dive right into what it is so we can get to some...
All right. Well, introducing today's idiom is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Okay.
Truthfully. Sometimes I sarcastically say that and play something obscure.
So
this
random.
is actually one of my favorite movies.
Okay.
1988. This is Mr. Roger Rabbit.
The apple of my eye, the cream of my coffee.
The apple of my eye, the cream of my coffee. But the apple of my eye is the important part. That is today's idiom.
Rabbit.
The apple of my eye.
It's always such a funny little combo. Roger Rabbit and Jessica Rabbit.
It is.
Makes no sense whatsoever.
Truthfully. What are you saying?
Well, okay, so apple of my eye. Now, does that have anything to do with like the company Apple? Is that why they chose the name?
No. They chose the name because of Macintosh.
Good talk. Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it was because it was all Macintosh first.
You know what?
Right?
You're just so smart.
SMRT.
You're SMRT.
Yeah. Steve Jobs was all...
Which is different than...
Macintosh.
If it sounded right, then you're ASMRT. You just eat things and become smarter. That's ASMRT.
That's great. What's brain food?
Let me chew on that.
What's brain food?
It's
avocado?
ASMRT.
That's
okay, so you were, of all things, you know, do you remember there used to be like a culture war surrounding Apple versus like Android versus like BlackBerry versus like, well, you were like people were hardcore like, no, BlackBerry is it, like it's the most secure.
I still think that's mostly true between Apple and
those are the only two left. So
Apple and PC. Like, remember those ads where the two guys, Josh
Groban.
No, what was it?
You Lift Me
Justin
Up. Bieber.
Justin Long, does that sound right? Hi, I'm Apple. I'm PC.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
And of course the Apple guy was cool and PC
just fell off like the radar that way. Like I think in terms of like culture wars, it seems more like the people who were after like business and all the rest of it went PC. People who were like, I'm a creator,
went Apple.
I do music. I'm a producer. You have to be like Apple.
Right.
Yeah. And that just seemed to be like, okay, that's done. That's etched in stone now. But then because you were an Apple person, you like an iPhone person.
I was?
Yes.
No, I have owned one iPhone.
I remember when you crossed over to from the dark side.
And I immediately came back though.
So
you had one round iPhone 3.
Why did you venture into Apple land?
I can tell you right now.
Yeah.
We have a mutual friend.
No, people want to know this.
We had a mutual friend who had iPhones, and we went to a church event.
Okay.
And he showed up with his iPhone, and he played a short from The Incredibles, like Jack Attack or something. It was just a little short. And the crispness of that video I had never before seen on a phone. And I'm like drooling. It was like, we're watching a video.
That messed with people, I guess.
And
because we were playing videos back in like our Palm Trios.
And it was probably the hype of iPhones and whatever opportunity I had at whatever carrier I had at the time. But I quickly realized, for me personally, I'm not an iPhone person because I felt that this is going to upset all sorts of people, but
It's not that controversial anymore, is it?
I was just in a conversation between
Really?
my son, his wife, and myself. She's the only one with Apple products.
Okay.
And we were beating up on her pretty good, but there's valid reasons for both sides. But what I
Sure.
don't like about it is the
Control?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like that
You can have it, but
can't do this, this, and this, and there are not those restrictions with my
It's the Wild West if you want to get into an Android.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
if you want it to be.
the downside is that it's
There's
the
some
Wild West.
control. If you get a Samsung or whatever, there's some Samsung branded things on that phone. Even that bugs me.
And breaking them and modding them. There's like whole modding communities with whole different forks of Android. It's crazy.
Right. So I'm not crazy like that doing ridiculous things with it, but I don't like, an Apple person
So
or
what
an
drew you
iPhone
back
person.
to the light?
Well, for me personally, everything else other than my phone that's how long ago was the iPhone 3? That was a long time ago. But everything else in my life at that point was Google Calendar, Gmail, Chrome search. Everything was Google, which I was adding to my iPhone to make it work. And I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I'm not using anything else. And I was either going to jump both feet into all things Apple or jump out. And
Right.
I couldn't afford all things Apple.
Yeah, so
It's expensive.
I think what pushed me,
expensiver.
because I also started with the Apple IIc was like my first personal computer, and so I was like Apple, like Apple's great, and all the rest of it. Where it kind of I think in going where
Today's episode has been brought to you by
yeah, where I think where it starts to go off the rails is that in many ways Apple is like a Cadillac, and most people do not need a Cadillac.
Right.
It's like, so like my dad's like, whatever he feels he might need. Like, okay, Dad, like, what do you do on your phone? Well, I surf and I check my email and I play like Candy Crush or whatever.
Right.
It's like, okay, you're gonna drive around a Cadillac and you're not even out of the parking lot. Like you're not doing anything with that.
You know what's funny about your description is you're elevating Apple to the Cadillac, whereas the control.
It's a great product,
Fair enough, maybe,
which I'm not into.
but I think of it as a Cadillac only in price tag because when it comes to Apple products, if your end user know nothing, you'll be fine on an iPhone.
Yeah.
It's so user friendly.
You know what makes just my heart
Whereas
melt
an
and sing?
Android, if you want to, you can get into it a little bit.
Oh, I love it when Apple stuff goes wrong. We have like meetings, whatever, and it's like, oh, just cast it to your iBox thing. And it's like
Apple TV.
Your Apple TV. Oh, it's not working. I'm like, Apple, it just works.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it doesn't.
Well, what the other thing
It's
is
a trashy.
typically
Oh, what's your password to get into the? Okay, I hate this product already.
your Android can cast or do whatever with a spectrum of
Oh, it
products,
works with everything except Apple.
whereas Apple works with Apple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boo. And so I put together a list. Village Idiom Children. This is
Oh, we've lost every listener on this conversation.
Okay. Let's get so for the 10 of you who are still listening, I've got some Apple products that should be made. I will describe them, and you Apple name them for me.
Oh, okay, great.
Okay, ready, Village Idiom Children? You can do this while you're going through and listening. Okay, this Apple product, this Apple device.
Are these real products or no?
Nope.
Okay.
Is for pirates.
What?
If you're a pirate and you're just like,
Oh, you're gonna want the eye patch.
yes, that's the product you're going to need. Yes. Okay. This Apple device is for surveillance. It's a surveillance device that will help you in solving a crime.
In solving a crime.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't think you were going there. I don't know.
It's gonna be like a visual, like a recording of the events that happen, so you can solve the crime. It's best to have the Apple.
I mean, my mind is going to ID or identification.
It's the Apple Eyewitness.
Eyewitness. Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, so Village Idiom Children, did you get that one? Okay. Speaking of seeing things, this Apple device is for visually impaired Apple fanboys.
Apple fanboys?
Mm-hmm. It's for visually impaired Apple fanboys.
Apple eyewear? Eyewear?
These are eyeglasses.
Eyeglasses.
Yeah, that you got it. Okay. This Apple device is for pilots.
I thought this would be easier. I got the pirate one. Is it eye patch again?
It's an eyesore.
Oh, wow.
Is that too hard?
That's a good one.
Okay. So you know how Apple fanboys, they're out there doing their thing. This one is a specialized piece of sporting equipment that helps measure your soccer skills.
Soccer skills.
Yeah, it's the Apple
I don't know.
eyeball.
That's it?
It's an eyeball.
Why soccer?
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
Okay. You're going to get this one.
Yeah.
Okay. Legitimate children, you're out there. Okay. Is there 4 of you left? Okay, good. We're almost there. We're not so greedy as to not do this for you. This Apple device measures the calories in sweets.
In sweets. Eye candy?
It's eye candy.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, a little bit harder. This one measures carbohydrates in bread.
I don't know.
It's the eye roll.
What's the Apple idiot? I don't know.
Okay. Only 7 left.
Wow.
No, okay, there's less.
No, I'm in. Bring it.
Okay. This is the new the Apple Brazier.
What? Eye candy.
Yeah, it's the eye drops.
Oh, eye drops.
The new Apple Brazier eye drops.
Okay.
For those of you about to get your beating on, sometimes when you have like your horse and you want to, you got to discipline it or kind of bring it into line, you're going to need some sort of whip for it. It's the new Apple.
What? Eye crop?
Oh, that's so smart. It's the eyelash.
Oh, lash.
The eyelash. Okay. The classic Apple sneakers.
Ikey?
It's the Iran.
No.
Okay, finally. You want the segment to be over.
I just took the N off of Nike. I thought I had a good answer there.
Ikey. I get what you're saying.
Okay.
That's good. And wrong. Okay. And because they're always doing premium products, now this is a little trickier. It's the new Apple boat.
Apple boat.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know. I float.
It's the eyeliner.
Oh man.
Okay. And this concludes
Wait.
Apple
You
section.
know that what was the one about the pilots? Was it just Apple product for pilots?
Eyesore.
Okay, do you know who the enemies of the Apple using pilots are? Hijackers.
That's terrible. And we just want to thank you, all of the service people. We want to just give a shout out as well. Just pay this moment of respect to
Thank you for your
all the
service.
veterans. Thank you for your service. Well, we should probably find out where this thing actually comes from.
I was trying to come up with some Apple product for being sincere. I mean it.
Okay, before we segue in, then I did find a little joke, legitimate children. Before we segue into this, the next part, the origins. Here we go. What is a doctor who specializes in Adam's apples called?
Interesting. A doctor, I would imagine throat specialist.
What is a doctor who specializes in Adam's apple called? A gynecologist.
Wow. That's smart. I like that one.
And let's get into some origins.
Wow. Guy neck. That's funny.
I said some words. Where'd they go?
You notice our
Where'd they
origin
go?
song
No
starts with
one
I?
can know.
I-
Turned around and looked. looked behind, those words came from another mind. Origin!
eyejackers.
I like it because you made that on the spot. I came prepared, and yours is still ranks up there better than some of them.
Well, today's idiom, Apple.Of.My.Eye. We didn't talk about how it's used or the usage of its meaning. Apple.Of.My.Eye means someone who is deeply cherished or loved or valued above all others. Kind of like favoritism, which is usually reserved for somebody really close, like a significant other or your child or the apple of your eye. So that's how it's used. The origin, originally this term simply referred to as the aperture at the center of the human eye, also known as the pupil. Occasionally...
Iris.
That's the color part.
Okay, sorry.
The pupil. Occasionally it was referred to as the whole eyeball. The apple of the eye just meant the eye, but it specifically meant, in the oldest usages, it meant the center, the pupil of the eye. The earliest appearance of the term is found in the 9th century Old English translation of the Latin Cura Pastoralis, attributed to Alfred the Great. The Great. Did I say grape? Alfred the Great. The sense pupil appears to be the meaning of Shakespeare's use in 1590's play A Midsummer Night's Dream. In the play, the fairy character Robin Goodfellow has acquired a flower that was once hit by Cupid's arrow, imbuing it with magical love-arousing properties, and drops juice of this flower into a young sleeping man's eyes, saying,
Dropping juice, yo ho!
Flower of this purple dye, hit with Cupid's archery. That's probably archery, but I'm trying to make it rhyme. Sink in apple of his eye. So we got an arrow from Cupid going right into the center of someone's eye. Did you have any preconceived origins to this?
I do have a theory on what you're telling me right now.
About Shakespeare?
About it being the pupil.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. And I don't know if you're going to get to this and I'm screwing it up. But
maybe. But did you look it up or are you just going with your gut here?
No, I think I know.
Okay.
So your pupil reflects
Right.
what you're looking at.
Right.
So in you right now, if I stare deeply into your eyes, okay,
You're in love, aren't you?
I'm in love. I just got lost there.
What
for a
were we going
moment.
to say? You're looking into my eye,
And so you can see yourself.
you see your own
it's a
reflection. So when you say, I'm the apple of your eye,
because you're
you're
staring
just
at me.
such an ego that you're seeing yourself.
Yes. Yes. Or whatever I'm looking at is the reflection of the thing I'm cherishing the most.
Well, you're really close.
Okay.
Sort of. So the phrase apple of my eye occurs several times. So that the origins I just gave about Shakespeare and about it originally just referring to the aperture of the human eye, the pupil of the eye, we're going to leave that as being the origin. Not Shakespeare part, but just its meaning, the center of your eye. But the phrase apple of my eye occurs several places in the King James Bible. And so that's what I thought you were going to say. It's like, oh, it's a Bible thing. Bible. From 1611.
Bible.
So, the Bible.
The Holy Bible.
So the phrase apple of my eye is in the King James Bible translation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times.
Wow.
And subsequent translations, but King James first. So Deuteronomy, I'm going to read them all. You can never have too much eyeball. Deuteronomy 32:10. He found him in a desert land.
Sounds like you're saying Deuteronomy.
Jew?
Yeah.
Dew. Like shake the dew off your lily.
This is a G-rated show.
Deuteronomy 32:10. He found him in a desert land, and in the waste, howling wilderness, he led him about. He instructed him. He kept him as the apple of his eye. That's the first one. Psalm 17:8. Keep me as the apple of the eye. Hide me under the shadow of thy wings. Proverbs 7:2. Keep my commandments and live, and my law as the apple of thine eye. Lamentations 2:18. Their heart cried out unto the Lord, O wall of the daughter of Zion. Wow, let's try that again. Their heart cried unto the Lord, O wall of the daughter of Zion. Let tears run down like a river day and night. Give thyself no rest. Let not the apple of thine eye cease. And lastly, Zechariah 2:8. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, after the glory hath he sent me into the nations which spoiled you, for he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye.
I've never heard this apple of the eye Bible. I spend
Really?
more of my time NIV.
Right. Okay. So old translation. So
But it could have been that when King James or when the translators were doing their thing in that era, that was like the phrase.
So here's the thing: before I looked up anything, I thought this was a Bible reference because I had heard that like he was the apple of God's eye, whatever. However, the apple of the eye, this phrase comes from the one of the oldest English translations. So what you're saying is correct. Like apple of the eye was already a thing in English.
It still makes Bible sense though for like the fall of man, the staring at the thing that they wanted but couldn't have.
Interesting. The apple.
The apple.
So the apple usage comes from English idiom, not biblical Hebrew. The original Hebrew for this idiom, or in all but Zechariah 2:8, which we'll get to, was, I could be mispronouncing this, but Ishon, also an Apple product. No, that's the Hebrew word. I'm probably mispronouncing it, but Ishon is my best guess at pronunciation. This expression refers to the pupil and probably simply means the dark part of the eye. So other biblical passages use Ishon where the meaning is dark or obscure, having nothing to do with the eye at all. This is a popular notion that Ishon is a diminutive of man, so that the expression would literally mean, here you get ready for this, little man of the eye. So look in your reflection.
So I saw that phrase in my lookings around somewhere. That's probably why it's in my head.
Little man of the eye.
Little man of the eye.
So that's a better translation of the Hebrew word Ishon. But because the English already had apple of my eye and little man of my eye meant nothing
that makes
in
sense.
English, they went with apple of my eye. This would be consistent with a range of languages in which the etymology of the word for pupil
I'm
has
using this in my next sermon.
Do I have it here? I don't think I have it here.
Okay.
The arpel was another word which in some language meant both pupil and apple. So they're in multiple language, pupil and apple kind of overlap in
John
sound.
Gold, Gravenstein's The Arpel of Your Eye.
Yes, in Zechariah 2:8 we left that out, but we did read it. The Hebrew phrase uses not Ishon, the Hebrew word, it uses bava or baya. The meaning of bava is disputed, but some sources claim bava comes from an unused root meaning to hollow out or something hollowed like a gate. And so this would lend to the understanding of the pupil of the eye being hollowed out like a gate, but it also might mean apple, bava.
Like a window to your soul.
Bava could mean hollowed out gate, or it could mean apple. So there is a little correlation there. So Zechariah 2:8 only could literally mean apple of the eye. But not the other four references.
The little man in your eye versus, which means nothing in English, versus apple of the eye.
As cool as that is, most Hebrew scholars generally regard that phrase, including the Hebrew word bava, as just referring to the whole eyeball. So it's cool that it has an apple reference, but it's most likely not. So origins as far as apple of my eye, little man of my eye, seeing yourself, what you were saying, you see something in the eyes of somebody else, it all comes back around to being this apple of the eye, apple of my eye.
Cool. That's interesting.
Overlap of language and etymologies of multiple words.
You know what? Sometimes interesting actually applied today.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
That's a good one.
Right.
So that's all I have for origins, but I thought it was fun.
Yeah. I like it too. I'm trying to think of like Arpel phrases now, like caramel Arpel and stuff.
Carpal tunnel syndrome.
That's actually a strained eye. An eye strain. I have Arpel tunnel syndrome. That's
Carpal tunnel.
well, those are good. That's actually like I feel smarter now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Normally, I walk away going,
I thought
I feel
for sure
stupider
because
now.
of your biblical studies
I've never heard of
that you would have gone, oh, this is King James.
No, do you remember the bishop with his apples of gold, pitchers of silver?
Absolutely.
Yeah, the Arpels.
Okay, this is unrelated to today, but do you remember a phrase he just used to, like we would end a meeting and what something he would
Keep
say?
your head down, keep your powder dry.
Okay, that's not the one I was thinking of.
That's
Actually,
no atheists in foxholes?
no, starts with praise the Lord.
Pass the ammunition?
Yeah, praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. That just struck me the other day. I'm like, where did he get that?
It was probably a wartime phrase.
It was a wartime song. But we should do an episode on that because it's not an idiom that's used, but it was actually.
Praise the Lord, pass the ammunition.
I went down this little rabbit trail of origins of that.
But that's what, keep your head down, keep your powder dry. That's like a foxhole thing.
Yes. But the praise the Lord and pass the ammunition had a whole story and music to go along with it. Not even joking. Pass the ammunition.
Keep your head down.
Still just praise the Lord. Something about that. Anyway.
Just massacred someone.
Let's move on by...
Offended veterans and the church community.
That's right. Let's move on by hearing a little something from Jennifer Aniston. Makes the most sense, right? So season 6 of Friends.
That makes sense.
Just to bring us home.
Oh, look who it is. My husband, the apple of my eye.
Little Jennifer Aniston for you.
Who was her husband again?
I was confused by that. I didn't watch the whole episode. I just got the clip, but I'm like, she's not married in the show. So it must have been something to do with that specific episode.
Who did Chandler marry Monica? I can't remember.
Well, Ross and
Monica's brother, sister.
No, Ross and what's her character? Rachel. Ross and Rachel get married in the end, don't they?
Oh, did they?
Yeah, that's
okay.
How I Met Your Mother ends.
It could be. I never watched any of that. You could tell me that, and then I'll go and tell somebody around the water cooler, and they're like, "You're an idiot. That's not anything what happened." And
that was a thing in the 80s when
having a water cooler.
No, when characters from one series would make a guest appearance in another one. It was a way a network would.
Oh yeah. Mork and Mindy is just jumped into my head for.
Well, Mork is a spin-off from Happy Days.
Happy Days, that's right.
In the Jump the Shark era of Happy Days, they brought in an alien.
Yes.
And which, of course, Mork.
Robin Williams.
Was supposed to be a one-off and became...
And then Mork and Mindy.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Well,
it's good. Village Idiom children, get yourself prepared. I hope you've got your sitting down with a cold drink.
Hope you've got your sitting down pants on.
We're going to do a lovely little riddling just for you.
Well, Riddlink is a game we like to play. It takes a 2-part trivia-based question, requires a 2-part but overlapping answer, overlapping by sound, syllable, word, or word. So, for example, we left you... Oh, yeah, we did leave him with this one. So I have my wording of the Billy Idol one. Do you have your wording?
No, go ahead. We did.
Mine was a little shorter than yours. So mine was Billy Idol...
It's okay, man. It's just genetics. Continue.
Billy Idol shouted this, although a coward. Mm-hmm. Billy Idol shouted this, although a coward. Our idiom last week was yellow-bellied, and so the correct answer is...
Oh, am I supposed to jump in?
You usually do.
Okay. Rebel yellow-bellied.
That's it. Rebel. It's not Rebel Yell. It's not yellow-bellied. The correct answer to play Riddling is Rebel Yellow-bellied.
We had a double crossover last week.
That was amazing.
Yeah, that was
Never
that was very bizarre.
Crossover streams.
Yeah, okay. Don't cross the streams. Ghostbusters. Okay. I've got a couple prepared.
I got a couple prepared.
Illegitimate children, get ready to chime in on this. It should be fast.
I hope we don't have duplicates because I like mine today.
Okay. This Apple tablet creates Bangkok food.
Oh, I like it. Say it again.
This Apple tablet creates Bangkok food.
I'm going to go with iPad Thai.
That's it.
I like it. iPad Thai.
iPad Thai.
All right, you ready for one?
Yeah.
I think you'll like this one.
Okay.
This repeated whimsical sound imitates a laser gun for what really is the apple part of your eye. This repeated whimsical sound imitates a laser gun for what really is the apple part of your eye.
That's so funny. I'm sure they beat me to it, but here we go. Pew, pew, pupil.
That's it.
I do like it. I like it that it hung me up, but I could think it through.
Right.
Yeah, that was a good one. Okay.
I was hoping you'd...
pew, pew, pupil.
Yeah, I'd hope you'd do falsetto and not just pew, pew, pupil. Pew, pew, pupil.
I came through for you.
Yeah, you did.
Okay. Here we go.
Get it?
SpongeBob's house is my true love.
Oh, okay.
SpongeBob's house is my true love.
Well, that's got to be just pineapple of my eye.
Pineapple of my eye.
I like it.
Straightforward.
Yep. Okay, I got one more, but let's leave this one dangle ain't-a-wing out there for everyone to play along. For one person to play along.
Okay, perfect. You can reach out to us on Instagram at the.village.idiom or email us thevillageidiompodcast@gmail.com, or whether it's the Facebook, the YouTubes, or the X at 3 Minutes Gone.
You know, I wonder if people get what you're saying, because you can reach out to us at the Like, you don't even hear the at the beginning. But you do have to type in the word the first.
Yeah, it's
The dot. Maybe you should emphasize everything but the dots. Try it again.
Okay, you can reach out to us on the Village Idiom.
Still have to say dot, though.
Oh, do I?
The dot. Village dot.
Okay, you can reach out to us on the village idiom at Gmail. No, at Instagram. Yeah,
At Instagram.
.org.
Okay, here's the last one. Eve had this term of endearment for Adam, but he referred to himself as the man who builds the boat. One more time.
Wow.
Eve had this term of endearment for Adam, but he referred to himself as the man who builds the bout.
And
You
that's
get it?
3 minutes gone, of course. Yeah, some Nova Scotia kicked in there.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, it's fun putting today's episode together.
I loved it.
I'm Skinny.
I'm Jurassic Mark.
And these are the Village Idioms.
You're my cupcake gumdrop, snickums, spickums, you're the apple of my eye.
Last 3 minutes gone.